What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dirty Wormy, and I got a fun video for you today because my god, Warhammer 40k is burning down all around us. Because this story is a continuation of what happened back in April when Warhammer 40k decided to come out and gaslight its fans and attack its fans and treat its fans as if they were idiotic and decided to retcon in a female Adeptus Custode. Now, when it comes to this particular situation, it was a full-fledged retcon. For the longest times, the Adeptus Custodes were the infant sons of the noble houses of Terra. This was canon for many, many, many years. It is that way. But when they were called out by the actual fans and the audience, they responded with this. Since the first of the 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodians. This move showed how they truly felt about their customer base, how they truly felt about the fan base in general, and how they were more than willing to come out here with a lazy retcon, a lazy way to actually introduce a female Adeptus Custodian. And I'm of the opinion you could have done it, found a way to do it, whatnot. It would have taken work, but it was always something you could have done. And they decided to do it so lazily, so pathetically, and when they got called out for it, they gaslit their audience and treated their audience like they were the problem instead of the way how Games Workshop did this. Well, since then, Games Workshop has decided to double down on the decision, further changing the Adeptus Custodes lore, further changing up how they actually work and what goes on within this whole process, taking away the word sons, so now it becomes more gender ambiguous and allows for anybody to be a custodian. Oh, so simple. Well, because of this change, because of the way Games Workshop has treated its fan base, treated its audience, and treated the people that pay a lot of money just to get access into the Warhammer, we've been seeing a revolution of sorts from actual Warhammer fans. When you come over here to the actual YouTube account, now this has actually kind of started mellowing out a little bit, but for the longest time, their YouTube account was getting hammered and ratio on video after video after video because of this retcon and change and how they were treating their audience. You can see it, like, people were outright upset with this whole change, how Games Workshop was treating it, how they were treating the audience. They called it out, and justifiably so. And this is going back a little bit. We did see numerous Warhammer players decide to come out here and say that they were going to be boycotting everything, that they were canceling their subscriptions to, I think it was Games Workshop, Warhammer sites, Warhammer subscriptions, deciding to step away, and several individuals decided to come out here and say, hey, you know what? Instead of paying an arm and a leg for all of our armies, all of our gear, why don't we just start 3D printing our actual characters and circumventing Games Workshop, because all the files exist already and a decent 3D printer just costs about $200. Relatively simple process, tons of people are doing it, and guess what? Nobody cares. Well, since then, since all this has gone down, we actually had an update in the situation. After upsetting their fan base with female custodes, Games Workshop announces Warhammer 40k price increase. Now, you could honestly equate this to the rising inflation and the rising situations throughout the entire world. Let's not mince words here. It is becoming more and more expensive to be a fan of literally anything as the economy is going downhill. But it's very interesting to see, you know, after the massive backlash, after the massive pushback by the fans, cancellation of subscriptions, the announcement that a lot of them are going to start 3D printing their armors now, and some of the deeper and deeper dives into what's going on over at Games Workshop, kind of interesting how out of nowhere, they're announcing a price increase on their product. But when you actually get down to it, it doesn't seem like a huge price increase, but it's a price increase from 3% to 5%. But in this official update that they posted to Twitter, you get this. It's unfortunate truth that the world keeps getting more expensive. Price for food, materials, and transportation have been trending upwards for a few years now, and Warhammer isn't immune to that trend. This means that June 10th, we'll be increasing some prices in our Warhammer store and on Warhammer.com. The price changes for individual products will vary, but in most countries, the average change will be between 3% to 5%. As an example of what you can expect, a squad of Necron warriors goes up $2 from $50 to $52. And then they have, I don't know if this is euros and this one's pounds, but they're also going up within their local currency equivalents. The price of some of our products aren't changing, such as paint posts and paint sets, White Dwarf and Black Library products, including digital publications. We understand that no one likes a price rise, and we've done our best to keep prices down. We're giving you a heads up now so that you have plenty of time to take advantage of current prices. Now, again, like I've been saying, easily it could just be because of the rising economic situations throughout the entire world. But it's very interesting to see this as it is right now. It's very unique to see this go forward with the controversy, with the pushback, with the revolution of the fans, and the continuation of people taking a look at what Games Workshop is doing and saying no to it, all while simultaneously having the fans being treated like garbage by not just Games Workshop, but including groups like Warhammer Fan Site coming out and attacking players as bigots because they dislike the retcon and how it was done by Games Workshop. This was a very unique situation where a fan site outright decided to come out here and say that everybody that is against this is just a sexist bigot and doesn't need to be within the fandom itself. We also had former Games Workshop employee Nick Davies attempts to defend companies Adeptus Custodes retcon. There was no such thing as fact. That is very much true by him. There was never such a thing as fact within the actual lore of Warhammer 40k, but if something gets said over and over and over again as fact, and you start leaning more towards a certain position, more towards how they are presenting it, so on and so forth, it kind of is, this is more than likely the truth here. And the pushback was because of how they did the retcon. Not that they did the retcon, but how they did it and how they treated the customer after they'd done such retcon. We also had people deciding to dig deeper into some of Games Workshop past works in regards to the Black Library. You had people notice that there was an entire author that decided to write Sargon of Akkad, aka Carl Benjamin, into a book just to kill him off. This particular author also did all sorts of other very insane things and added all sorts of craziness into the Warhammer lore itself. I mean, come on, this dude decided to make an orc army posing with pride flags and a Black Lives Matter fist. Not a very sane individual. We also recently had this go down. Warhammer 40k novelist James Swalwell confirms he included gender transition propaganda into his Iron and Bone story. Now, this is another story. Both of these particular authors come from a couple years back, but this is another story in which they purposely inject transgenderism within the world of Warhammer 40k because they must their ideology forward at all cost. Nothing but absolute dominance is enough for these individuals, and their propaganda must persist well into anything that they actually create. And it also doesn't really make sense to have transgender characters not be, for lack of a better term, Drakari or characters such as that, but it also doesn't make sense to have anybody really discussing the pronouns within the Imperium itself. Mainly because people will just look at you and say, yeah, get back to work. And just recently, and this is more of a Alyssa Mercante and Kotaku story, but this is a very unique one. We had Magic the Gathering and Warhammer artist Paul Scott Canva say he wants to track down and string up loved ones of people he disagrees with. Now, again, this is more of a Kotaku style story and discussion with Alyssa Mercante, but it did come out that this particular guy was an artist, or is an artist still. It's one, I believe he still is an artist for Games Workshop, and he decided to say that for everybody that disagrees with him, for all the critics out there, we need to go hunt down their families and string them up. Because that's the move to start doing right now. Parroting comments from Alyssa Mercante. Because this is a mentality these guys have. All these guys have the same mentality. If you criticize them at all, you're the villain and you must be punished. So when fans start seeing these actions take place, when fans start seeing this go down, and then you see prices of Games Workshop products are going up, it leads one to believe that things aren't so well over at Games Workshop, and a chance greater than zero is that the actual pushback against the female Custodes is having an effect, and Games Workshop has to basically figure out how to get that money. Okay? They've pissed off a lot of their fan base. They now have to find a way to recoup said money that has now been lost after infuriating said fan base. So, you know what you do? You raise the price on everything. It's also something to note, and I remember when this situation came down because it got a lot of pushback on it. There was recently a CFO that decided to come out and sell 2/3 of her shares amid growing boycott. Now, I had a lot of people come out here and say, well, she was announcing that she was going to do this. This is a normal practice within people leaving a company. They sell off their shares. They don't stick around. But for a company that as big as Games Workshop, as profitable as Games Workshop has become, it becomes very unique and interesting when a CFO comes out here and decides to sell off 2/3 of her shares as she's stepping out the door and not keep a hold of those shares, expecting that money to increase over time and her investments to increase over time. Becomes very interesting how this all kind of plays out, and it all leans towards things aren't so safe and good going down at Games Workshop. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get your guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, share it with friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video go live, guys. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.